all do that at home too.
If I could grab your attention for a moment, everyone. This is big. This is important and this is very cool. We're very honored.
I'll go up there, yeah.
To have a surprise special guest with us here this evening. So Tirrell has been touring around to different high schools and indigenous communities with Live Different. He's been doing this for a couple of years now, sharing his personal story and mentoring students to live a life of purpose. He was just in northern British Columbia and left that tour to come be with us here this evening. He'll head back up there again this weekend and catch up with that same crew again. So instead of trying to explain what Live Different does in high schools, I'm going to try and offer an experience you can see and feel, a glimpse of it firsthand. So imagine right now, right? See, that's sort of get your mind in a certain place, get the right vibe. You're in a school gymnasium, right? You're in the school gym. Go back to your own high school, right? There are fancy lights. There's maybe a smoke machine. It's almost like a concert's about to begin, okay? So you're in the high school gym, some smoke, some lights, something's about to happen. Now please give a warm welcome to our dear friend, Tirrell.
Alright, you don't have to play the song right now. This is a test, I'm just kidding. Alright, so, as Sheila said earlier in the night, I'm one of the people that went into the reserves in the north, and it was absolutely beautiful. We saw so many things, so many stories, and so many lives saved. And so I want to give a thank you to Live Different before I start. So I want you guys to give the hardest clap of your life to Live Different. All right. Now, how many of you guys want to hear a funny story? Put up your hands. Yeah, okay. All right, so in 2014, I was touring the country, and I went back to my home reserve, which is Rosa River First Nation, just an hour south of Winnipeg. And I remember I was doing this concert, right? I was on his last song, and it was one of his chill songs, but by the end of it, I got everybody jumping. So I do this countdown, right? I'm like, 3, 2, 1, jump! And everybody in the building is going as hard as they can, they're jumping as high as they can. And then I'm thinking, if these people are jumping for me, I should probably jump with them. And so here I am, right? I'm jumping as high as I can, trying to reach the moon. But on the third or fourth jump, I'm way down. My pants fell off, man. It fell off in front of all these people. I was so embarrassed, right? I went to the side of the stage, I put it back on, and I came back and I finished the song. You know, obviously something bad happened. And I'm the type of person to stay positive through it, but I know that every single one of us in this room knows that it's hard to stay positive sometimes. You see, growing up was hard for me. My dad wasn't in my life. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom, she left me when I was 2 weeks old. And she left a note on my stomach in my grandma's house, and I must have been laying on this couch for about 2 or 3 hours before anybody found me. And when they did, they opened this note, and this note said that she couldn't take care of me, and that she was leaving. You see, even in my own family, I always felt like I never fit in. I remember I was 8 years old one time, and I was 8 years old, and I was playing with my toys, and my grandma knocks on the door. And she's like, Tirrell, your dad's here. And I'm thinking, my dad's here? My dad's here, what? Yes, my dad's here. My dad is here. We're gonna be a family again, and things are gonna come together. I will be happy. She brings me to the back door and she opens it. And there he is, my dad. didn't even say hi to me. He said, "Where's your mom?" And my mom was at this trailer playing cards with my aunties. So I took him there, and on our walk there, he would just walk straight, and it's almost like he was angry. But this is my dad, and I try to get his attention, so I jump in front of him and try to wave at him, but he didn't look at me once. And we got to this trailer, and we're about to go inside, and he tells me to wait. So here I am, looking at this door. He goes inside. You start hearing this arguing, it's getting louder and louder, and you knew that he was mad because of his footsteps. And he came close to the door, and he kicked it open. And he walked past me like I didn't exist. See, but this is my dad, and some part of me loved him, so I followed him. And when I followed him, he finally noticed me. And he would turn to me and say, "You can't come where I'm going." And he would turn and walk again. He did the same thing. But finally, we got to the end of the road. And this time he looked at his 8-year-old son. He looked at his 8-year-old son and he said, "Tirrell, I'm never coming back." He said this to me when I was 8 years old. I remember I stood there and I didn't know what to feel, but something in my heart hurt. And I watched him walk away. I went to my grandma's house and I remember my whole family was home. And I was crying as loud as I can. But not one person came to see if I was okay. And that hurt me most. So knowing that I wasn't going to find love at home, I started looking for love in other places. I started trying to be a gang member. I remember I got into a life of crime, and years later, there was this rich man that I knew. His name was Kurt. And we needed money. So I had this plan to rob him. So I had a couple of my cousins join me. I had one guy at the corner of the 4-way stop sign, another guy in front of his house. And if they seen their vehicle coming, they would whistle to warn me. So as they're watching out, right, here I am in the back door with my tools, and I finally get through. I search through most of the house, and I get to the master bedroom. And I see this dresser, and I go from the bottom drawer to the top, and I open it. And there's these Christmas cards that they got from their family and friends over the years. But inside these cards, there was $50 bills and there was $100 bills, but at the time, I didn't care. I grabbed it all, and I got it together and gathered my guys. We left out the back door, but one of the neighbors saw us. And later that night, we ended up at a place called the Sunflower Festival, where there was rides and food, and a place we could spend this money that we just robbed. But 11 o'clock comes around, and all these shops are closing. Me and my cousin are walking side by side, laughing and enjoying our lives. And then we both look up. And under the streetlight is Kurt, the man that we just robbed. He comes walking towards us. My heart's beating so fast. He comes up to me and he's like, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "Yeah." And he asked me, "Do you know who broke into my house?" And I said, "No." He stopped and he took a deep breath and he looked on the ground. And he looked back at me, and he asked me, "Do you know who broke into my house?" And I said, "No." But the second time I said no, I felt like there was a rope around my heart and a brick weighted down, and I felt sick because I lied to another man. He said, "If you hear anything by tomorrow lunchtime, let me know. If not, I'm going to call the cops and they'll find out who did it." He got up and he walked away. I remember I went to my grandma's house that night after this, and there was one thought that really haunted me most. The one thought that really hurt me was, tomorrow I'm going to jail. Tomorrow I'm going to jail. And when I go to jail, who's gonna be there for my brother and sister that I had to help raise because my mom and dad weren't there? See, all these thoughts hit me, and I remember I didn't sleep, but finally, 11 a.m. comes around the next morning, and I finally work up the courage to call him. So I pick up the phone, and my hands were shaking. I put in his number. It's ringing, and he picks up. And I said, Kurt, I'm sorry I broke into your house. It won't happen again, and I'm ready to go to jail. In his calm voice, he said, I'm not gonna call the cops on you. I want you to come over, pay me back, and help my family build a shed. You know, immediately I said yes, and we both said goodbye and hung up the phone. And the next day I'm walking to his house, and I was so scared because I thought I was gonna get beat up, but I get there. And I remember looking up and I saw his kids in the sandbox. And his wife was in the garden. And his Kurt is right beside me. And he's asking me questions that I've never even heard of before. What do you want to do when you graduate? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? He showed me something that I've never seen before. He looked past the boy who robbed him to see who I could be one day. This action changed my life. This kindness, because it truly changes everything. I wrote a song about my mom and dad, and rather than being bitter and hateful towards them, I chose to love and forgive. So can I do that song for you guys? Here we am again, another hopeless sleepless night, thinking well that should be alright, cause I might be bringing up the past, it's only cause I hit the wall, crashed, completely fake it till we found until I thought it aftermath. Dear Dad, did you mean it when you said that you loved me? And then you said trust me. How am I supposed to trust someone when you thought it was us? You drank your life away and said you could've took care of us. I had to latch on my brother and sister every time they asked for your dad. You didn't appreciate telling them that you didn't have a plan to come see us. You didn't make an effort, and you're probably the best pretender. That made me mad when you walked away and told me you were never coming back. And I had a heart attack, fighting for most of my life to get your attention. How am I supposed to be a man when I was never taught a lesson?
And I keep asking what I do to make you see me like this, an undeserving seeker of your love and attention. But I see past the pain, soaking in the truth, resting in a deeper love, and I forgive you.
It's easy to leave and even harder on the person you left. It's like I can't breathe, the past like my breath. Mom, I don't know what you were thinking when you left a note on my stomach so sudden you went cold-blooded. I was only 2 weeks old when you left me on the couch just to be me alone with no one else in the house. When grandma told me the story, I was hurt beyond belief. I always asked myself this question, should I leave? I guess I wasn't meant to live. Never even had a voice, never had nothing to give. I didn't have a choice, but years went by. I grew up, Mom, and you doubted me from birth, but to survive and prove you wrong. Tears falling rapidly, flowing like rapids, writing in my notebooks, and I seriously can't stand this. Mom, you could have shown love and hope. I don't even know you to this day, it's sad to say I don't.
And I keep asking what I do to make you see me like this, an undeserving seeker of your love and attention. But I've seen past the pain, soaking in the truth, resting in a deeper love, and I forgive you.
As I write this, I'm flipping the pages and moving on, starting on a new page, inspired through songs. This is dedicated to the hurt, broken and more. Just remember that you're stronger than before the war. The battle through this life isn't always easy to survive, but the victory achieved are the reason we're still alive. And I look in the mirror, I see you, Mom and Dad, I'm not a kid no more. Finally alone I can stand. I'm a perfect example of nothing rising from the dirt with roots, spreading all across the globe, helping you hurt. With that being said, I got morals to follow, will I live, and I'm called to make a difference, including to forgive. forgive. So, mom and dad, I'm glad we met when I was older. You smile every time because you see me getting bolder. I forgive you both. Love has been restored. I love you to the fullest. I love you forevermore.
And I keep asking.
If everybody could put up your hands like this with me. Put your hands up, hey! And undeserving.
Seeker of your love.
The secret of your love.
I'm seeing past
the pain.
soaking in
I'm soaking in the truth. And I'm pressing it into your love.
and I forgive you.
Through all the pain and the hurt I've been through, mom and dad, I still love you. And I always will. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, it's got an ovation, man.